In part 1, we covered singleton, factory, builder, adapter, decorator, strategy, observer, and dependency injection. This is part 2, 5 more design patterns that come up all the time in interviews and real projects. Same style, real-life analogies, short code, zero fluff. Let's go. Quick recap. Part 1 covered 8 patterns across creational, structural, and behavioral categories. Today we are adding 5 more: state, command, facade, proxy, and template method. Each one solves a real problem you'll hit in production code. Let's start with state. Think of an ATM. It has states: idle, card inserted, waiting for PIN, dispensing cash. When you press a button, what happens depends entirely on which state the machine is in. Press eject in idle state. Nothing happens. Press eject in card inserted state. Card comes out. Same button, different behavior based on state. The state pattern says, instead of a giant if-else chain checking the current state, make each state its own class. When the state changes, swap the object. Clean, extensible, beautiful. Here's a vending machine. We have a state interface with 2 methods, insert coin and dispense. Idle state: if you insert a coin, it accepts and transitions to ready state. If you try to dispense without paying, it says insert coin first. Ready state: if you insert another coin, it says already got one. If you dispense, it gives the item and goes back to idle. Notice, no if-else anywhere. Each state handles its own logic. Adding a new state like sold out state? Just create a new class. The existing code doesn't change. That's the power. Use state when your object's behavior depends on its internal state and you find yourself writing if state equals this, do that, else if state equals that, do something else, scattered across multiple methods. Order processing is a classic: new, confirmed, shipped, delivered. Each status has different rules. Media players: playing, paused, stopped. Traffic lights. Game character states: walking, running, jumping, attacking. Anywhere state drives behavior, this pattern shines. Imagine a restaurant. You tell the waiter, I want a pizza. The waiter doesn't make it. He writes your order on a slip. That slip is the command. It goes to the kitchen. The kitchen is the receiver that actually does the work. The waiter is the invoker. He just passes commands along. This decoupling is beautiful. The waiter can queue up multiple orders, prioritize them, and even cancel one. That's your undo. The command pattern wraps a request as an object. You can store it, queue it, log it, and undo it. A remote control example. Command interface has execute and undo. Light on command wraps a light object. Execute turns it on, undo turns it off. The remote control is the invoker. It calls press button with any command, doesn't care if it's a light, fan, or AC. It stores the last command so you can undo. Want to add a fan command? Just create fan on command that implements command. The remote doesn't change at all. That's the beauty. You can add new commands without touching existing code. Use command when you need undo redo, like a text editor where every action is a command object you can reverse. When you need to queue operations, like a job scheduler. When you need to log and replay, like transaction systems where you record every operation. Text editors, drawing tools, macro recording, database transactions, game action replay, all use command. If you need to treat an action as a first-class object you can store, pass around, and reverse, that's command. You're at a hotel. You want a restaurant reservation, a taxi, and movie tickets. Do you call 3 different services? No. You call the concierge. He's the facade. One phone call to the concierge, and he coordinates the restaurant, taxi company, and ticket service behind the scenes. You don't know or care how he does it. You just get results. The facade pattern provides a simple interface to a complex subsystem. It doesn't remove the complexity, it hides it behind one easy-to-use class. Home theater system. You've got a projector, sound system, and lights, each with their own methods. Without a facade, the client code would need to call 6 different methods in the right order just to start a movie. With the home theater facade, one call to watch movie. It dims the lights, turns on the projector, sets the input, powers on the sound, and sets the volume. The client just says watch movie and everything works. That's facade. It doesn't add new functionality, it simplifies access to what's already there. Use Facade when you have a complex subsystem and the client doesn't need to know all the details. SDK wrappers. AWS SDK has incredibly complex internals, but you call one method. API client libraries, wrap HTTP calls, parsing, error handling behind simple methods. Spring Framework itself, application context, is a facade over bean creation, dependency injection, lifecycle management. Anywhere you want to say, here's one simple door into a complex building, that's facade. Think of a building with a security guard. You want to enter the building, that's your real object. But there's a guard at the door. He checks your ID, decides if you're allowed in, and logs your entry. He's a proxy. From your perspective, you're still just walking through a door. But the proxy added access control and logging without changing the building at all. The proxy pattern puts a stand-in object in front of the real one. Same interface, extra behavior, access control, caching, logging, lazy loading. Image loading example. Real image loads from disk in its constructor, that's slow. If you have a gallery of 100 images, loading all upfront is terrible. Proxy image to the rescue. It implements the same image interface. Constructor is instant, no loading. Only when you call display for the first time does it create the real image and load from disk. Second call? Already loaded, just displays. The client code doesn't know the difference, it just calls display on an image. But the proxy gave us lazy loading for free. You can also add caching here, access checks, logging, anything. 3 main types. Virtual proxy for lazy loading. Hibernate uses this for database entities. A proxy sits in place of the real entity and only hits the database when you actually access the data. Protection proxy for access control. Check permissions before allowing method calls. Logging proxy. Intercept calls to record metrics or audit trails. Spring AOP is essentially proxy-based. It wraps your beans with proxies that add transactional behavior, security checks, or logging. If you need to control access to an object without changing it, proxy. Making tea and making coffee, surprisingly similar. Step 1, boil water. Step 2, brew, but tea means steeping a tea bag, coffee means dripping through a filter. Step 3, pour into cup. Step 4, add extras, lemon for tea, milk for coffee. The overall recipe is the same, the template. Only specific steps differ. Template method says, define the skeleton of the algorithm in a base class, lock the order, and let subclass override only the steps that vary. The structure stays fixed. Only the details change. Beverage is the abstract base class. The prepare method is the template. It's marked final so no subclass can change the order. It calls boil water, brew, pouring cup, and add extras in that exact sequence. Boil water and pouring cup are concrete, same for everyone. Brew and add extras are abstract, each subclass fills in its own version. Tea steeps and adds lemon. Coffee drips and adds milk. Want to make hot chocolate? Extend beverage, implement brew and add extras. The skeleton never changes. You can't accidentally mess up the order. That's the guarantee. Use template method when you have an algorithm with fixed steps but some steps vary between implementations. JUnit is a perfect example, setup, run test, tear down. The order is fixed. You only override the specific test. Java servlets, the service method calls doGet or doPost based on the request type. You override doGet, not service. Frameworks love this pattern. Anywhere you want to say, here's the recipe, just fill in your part, that's template method. Quick cheat sheet. State, ATM machine, behavior changes with state. Command, restaurant order slip, wrap actions as objects, get undo for free. Facade, hotel concierge, one simple interface to a complex system. Proxy, security guard, a stand-in that adds control without changing the real object. Template method, tea and coffee recipe, fixed skeleton with customizable steps. People always ask, state and strategy look the same. They both swap behavior using polymorphism. Here's the key difference. In strategy, the client chooses which algorithm to use. I want to sort by name or by price. In state, the object itself transitions between states automatically. An order goes from new to shipped to delivered based on events, not client choice. Strategy is about choice. State is about life cycle. Same structure, completely different intent. Together with part 1, you now know 13 of the most important design patterns. Creational, singleton, factory, builder. Structural, adapter, decorator, facade, proxy. Behavioral, strategy, observer, dependency injection, state, command, template method. This covers the vast majority of what you'll see in interviews and real code bases. Master these 13 and you're ready for any design questions that come your way. If this helped, like and subscribe. Part 1 is linked in the description if you missed it. Next up, we're starting low-level design problems. Parking lot, elevator system, and more. Drop a comment with which design question you want solved. See you in the next one.